This is inner motion. We don't run from the dark, we walk straight into it, and we come out unrecognizable. Stay in the fight. That's it. That's the rule. No matter how heavy it gets, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how slow you move, you don't walk away. You don't tap out. You don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you quit. Because the truth is, winning doesn't always go to the strongest. It doesn't always go to the fastest. It goes to the one who refuses to leave the battlefield. Every fight you've ever been in your mind, in your body, in your life, has had one thing in common. The moment you wanted to quit was the exact moment you were closest to a breakthrough. The pain wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to test you, to ask you a simple question. Do you still want this? Most people say no. They leave. They convince themselves it wasn't worth it. And that's how the fight ends for them. Not because they were beaten, but because they walked out. You're not like them. You can't be like them. If you want to see what you're truly made of, you have to plant your feet, grit your teeth, and tell life, you're going to have to drag me out of here. Stay in the fight. That's it. That's the rule. No matter how heavy it gets, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how slow you move, you don't walk away. You don't tap out. You don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you quit. Because the truth is, winning doesn't always go to the strongest. It doesn't always go to the fastest. It goes to the one who refuses to leave the battlefield. Pain will try to convince you that you're done. It will whisper in your ear, telling you that you've reached your limit. But pain is not your enemy, it's your ally. Every surge of discomfort is proof that you are still here, still alive, still in the fight. Most people run from it. You're not most people. You take that pain and turn it into fuel. The longer you can carry it, the more dangerous you become. Because the enemy expects you to break. They're counting on it. And when you don't, when you keep moving forward through the weight pressing on your chest, you shattered their belief that you can be beaten. The pain that should have ended you becomes the signal that you're only getting started. Stay in the fight, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Every ache, every strain, every drop of sweat is a reminder. You're still here, and that means you can still win. Most of the fight isn't loud. It isn't a dramatic clash of swords or a sudden knockout. It's quiet. It's the slow, relentless grind of days where nothing seems to move, where you feel invisible, forgotten, and utterly alone. No cheers, no spotlight, no validation. Just you, your thoughts, and the weight of the road ahead. And that's where most people die, not from a single blow that knocks them down, but from the slow erosion of will that convinces them to stop standing back up. If you can survive the quiet war, you can survive anything. The days when your progress is invisible, when your mind screams that nothing's changing, when your body aches from effort that no one notices, that's when you have to double down. You keep showing up when there's no reason left but the promise you made to yourself. You keep swinging even when your arms feel like lead. You keep breathing in the dust, pushing through the mud, crawling if you have to, because the fight is not always about what you can see. It's about what you refuse to surrender. And here's the truth. The silence is the filter. It's where the pretenders leave and the real ones are forged. Those who endure it emerge with a kind of strength that can't be faked, because they've learned that the battle is not about winning quickly or winning easily. It's about refusing to be worn down no matter how long it takes. Stay in the fight even when it feels like there's nothing left to fight for, even when the world has stopped watching. That's how legends are made. That's how Unbreakable is built. Every fighter has a breaking point. That moment when your body screams that it's over, when your mind tries to convince you to surrender, when every step feels like you're carrying the weight of the world on your back. It's not a sign of weakness to reach that point. It's inevitable. But what you do when you get there will decide everything. Most people see the breaking point as the end. They take it as proof that they've gone as far as they can. They let the exhaustion win. But those who stay in the fight know the truth. The breaking point isn't the end. It's the threshold. It's the final door you have to push through before everything changes. When you're at the edge, you have to dig deeper than you ever have before. You have to stop negotiating with the pain. Stop listening to the voice that says it's time to quit and make a choice to keep moving forward, no matter what. Even if your pace slows to a crawl, even if all you can do is keep your fists up and take the next hit. The breaking point is where you prove you are unbreakable. And when you push through it, something happens. You realize that what you thought was your limit was just the surface, that there's more in you than you've ever touched before, that you are capable of enduring far more than you imagined. That's why you stay in the fight, because the moment you refuse to fall is the moment you start to rise. The longer you stay in the fight, the heavier it feels. Every failure, every setback, every scar, every moment you thought about quitting but didn't, all of it adds to the weight on your shoulders. But that weight isn't there to crush you, it's there to forge you. It's the resistance that makes you stronger, the constant pressure that shapes you into something unshakable. The weak throw it off and run. The strong carry it until it becomes part of them, until they no longer fear it, until they realize it is their proof of survival. When you carry that weight day after day, something changes deep inside. You stop wishing it was lighter. You start recognizing that the load is what separates you from everyone else. It's the evidence that you've endured what they couldn't, that you've stood where others fell, that you've been through the fire and are still standing. And when you finally arrive at the moment you've been fighting for, that weight turns into armor. Armor forged from every battle you refuse to walk away from. Stay in the fight, not just to win, but to become the kind of person who can bear more than anyone else. Because when the world sees you still moving under a load they couldn't carry for a single day, that's how you dominate in the end. The hardest opponent you will ever face is not out there, it's in your own head. Doubt, fear, impatience, and that quiet, poisonous voice that tells you to walk away. That's the enemy that takes down more fighters than any opponent ever could. You can outlast the world, but if you can't outlast yourself, you'll lose. Staying in the fight means learning how to fight that voice every single day. It means refusing to believe its lies when it tells you you're finished. It means silencing the part of you that craves comfort, that wants to be rescued, that dreams of the easy way out. It means knowing that the easy path is the road to nowhere. The enemy within knows your weaknesses better than anyone else. It knows exactly where to press, exactly when to whisper that it's not worth it. That's why defeating it takes more than strength. It takes self-control, patience, an unshakable commitment to your mission, and a willingness to feel discomfort without running from it. You don't just fight to move forward, you fight to keep yourself from stepping back, from betraying your own potential. And once you've mastered the battle inside, once you've proven that your mind cannot be broken, there's nothing outside that can ever take you down. That's when staying, and the fight becomes second nature, and winning becomes inevitable. Every long fight has storms, those moments when it feels like the entire world has decided to test you at once. The blows come faster, the challenges stack higher, and the weight pressing on you threatens to rip you apart. Most see the storm as the enemy, something to fear and hide from. But the ones who endure long enough learn to welcome it. Because the storm is the great separator. It's where the pretenders are swept away, and the real fighters rise to the surface. When you face a storm, you don't run for cover. You plant your feet, square your shoulders, and face it head on. Every drop of rain is a test of your patience. Every gust of wind a challenge to your balance. Every strike a question, asking if you can still hold your ground. The storm is loud, violent, and unpredictable, but your silence in the middle of it is louder. It tells the world you won't bend, you won't break, you won't vanish into the chaos. And when the storm passes, because it always passes, you'll still be there, scarred but standing, while the rest have vanished. Stay in the fight long enough, and storms stop feeling like threats. They start feeling like milestones, signals. The more violent the weather, the closer you are to the breakthrough you've been working for. You stop seeing the storm as something to endure, and start seeing it as proof that you're exactly where you need to be, because storms don't come for the weak. They never make it far enough to face them. There comes a point in every fight where something shifts, a point you don't notice at first, because it happens quietly, deep inside you. You've been hit, you've been dragged through the mud, you've been pushed to the point of breaking, but you're still here, and then it hits you. If all of that couldn't take you out, maybe nothing can. That's the moment you become dangerous. Not because you suddenly gain more strength than anyone else, but because you've stripped fear out of the equation. You've proven to yourself that pain doesn't scare you, exhaustion doesn't stop you, and time isn't your enemy, it's your weapon. Quitting is no longer an option you even consider. The fear of losing is replaced by the unshakable certainty that you will outlast anything that comes your way. Your opponent might have skill, speed, or numbers, but you have endurance, and endurance bends time in your favor. The longer the fight drags on, the more the balance tips toward you. When you hit that point, the fight changes. You stop merely reacting to blows and start controlling the rhythm. You stop surviving and start dictating how the battle unfolds. That's when endurance turns into dominance. That's when you stop thinking about how much longer you can hold on and start knowing you can hold on as long as it takes. That's when staying in the fight stops being a choice you make in the moment and becomes the foundation of who you are. And once that happens, once you cross that invisible threshold, you don't just stay in the fight, you own it. Every great battle eventually becomes a war of attrition, a contest not of skill, but of endurance. The one who can absorb more punishment, who can take more hits without breaking, who can keep going when the body begs to stop. That's the one who will outlast them all. This is where patience becomes a weapon and persistence becomes a blade sharper than steel. You don't need to win every exchange. You just need to remain standing after every exchange. Your opponents will exhaust themselves trying to break you. They will throw everything they have, believing that eventually you'll crumble. And with each attempt that fails, you'll feel their confidence drain and your own power rise. This is the quiet turning point when the fight is no longer about whether you can win, but about how long it will take before they give up. When you stay in the fight long enough, you begin to understand that endurance is more than a skill, it's a legacy. Every moment you refuse to quit, every challenge you survive, you are building a foundation that others will one day look to. People will forget who finished first. They will forget who started strongest. But they will never forget the one who would not stop. Endurance creates stories worth telling, not because they are glamorous, but because they are real, because they showed that even in the harshest conditions, a human being can refuse to break. And when you finally reach the end, you'll realize that it was never just about the victory. It was about becoming the person who could endure until the victory came. This is why you stay in the fight. Not for the applause, not for the recognition, but because every second you remain, you are proving something unshakable to yourself. You are showing the world that you can't be worn down, can't be forced out, can't be erased. You are the constant, the one who stands when everyone else has fallen. Stay in the fight, endure the storms, welcome the pain, outlast the doubt. Because when it's all over and the dust settles, the last one standing is the one who wins. This is inner motion. We don't run from the dark, we walk straight into it, and we come out unrecognizable.